What's going on, everyone, and thanks for joining me today for your daily dose of Star Wars. A couple of days ago, I made a video about why now would be the perfect time to do a Luke Skywalker anthology film that takes place post Return of the Jedi with Sebastian Stan portraying Luke. And today I thought that I would fill you all in with what we do know about Luke since events of Return of the Jedi ended, since that was the idea for the movie. 3 months after the Battle of Endor and the events of Return of the Jedi, Luke ventured to an Imperial research base on the planet of Veteen so that he could salvage the last remaining fragment of the Force-sensitive tree that was once on the Jedi Temple at Coruscant that we were first introduced to in the Clone Wars series. This Force-sensitive tree was stolen by Emperor Palpatine after he converted the temple into his Imperial palace. Luke recruited Shara Bey, who was a pilot and is Poe Dameron's mother, to be his co-pilot for this mission. And when Luke arrived, he not only found one remaining piece of the Force tree on Veteen, but he found two remaining fragments. Luke gifted one to Poe's mother, and they planted it at their house on Yavin 4. And Poe grew up playing on it, and it was a part of his childhood. And the other is likely the one we see on Ahch-To in The Force Awakens, that we will continue to see in The Last Jedi. Once the Galactic Civil War came to an end, the Galactic Concordance was signed. This was a peace treaty between the Republic and the Empire that had the Empire restricted to pre-established borders enforcing boundaries. However, the once controlling remnants of the Imperial forces disappeared into the unknown regions of the galaxy after the Galactic Concordance was signed, and they didn't re-emerge until shortly before the events of The Force Awakens, when Kylo betrayed Luke and chose to become a dark side warrior, and this is when Snoke ruled and they were a huge powerhouse again. During this time, Luke was seeking out Jedi lore, hoping to find information that Palpatine and the Empire had erased and tried to hide about the Jedi Order to gain a better understanding of it and so that he could continue to grow in his training. In his search, he was aided by a familiar face that we all know, a man named Lor San Tekka. Before we met Lor San Tekka in The Force Awakens, he was an explorer as well as a member of the Church of the Force before he met his end by Kylo Ren. Lor San Tekka was one of the few who didn't believe the Emperor's lies about the Jedi betraying the Old Republic, but instead he thought that the Jedi was necessary and essential to bring balance to the Force for the entire galaxy, hence his line in The Force Awakens when he's talking to Poe by saying, "Without the Jedi, there can be no balance in the Force." Luke also set out to begin training a new generation of Jedi around this time, which we already knew, passing on everything that he had learned about the Force from Obi-Wan, Yoda, and his own searching and training. This included Luke's nephew Ben Solo among them. Han and Leia were able to tell that Ben felt the pull to the dark side, and Han and Leia feared that he was too much like Darth Vader, and that was the reason they sent him to train with Luke to try and prevent him from suffering the same fate as Darth Vader did, but we already knew all of that too thanks to The Force Awakens. Ben was able to be tempted to the dark side by Supreme Leader Snoke because he felt that his parents had abandoned him and he was broken on the inside. Ben dropped his name of Ben Solo and took the name Kylo Ren and slaughtered all of Luke's next generation Jedi and everything that Luke had been working up to in rebuilding the Jedi. Luke felt responsible for Kylo's demise, and for not being able to prevent what happened to Kylo Ren, he vanished to Ahch-To and was nowhere to be seen, much like Obi-Wan and Yoda did after Revenge of the Sith. Luke found the location of the first Jedi Temple, which is what he was searching for, thanks to Han Solo, on the planet of Ahch-To, and dove even deeper into Force lore, trying to learn as much as he possibly could. The remnants of the Empire began to seek out all of the Jedi temples that were spread out in the galaxy, trying to learn what they could about the Jedi Order. The information that remained within the archives of the Empire was severely restricted after the Galactic Civil War. The First Order was able to get most of the map, but Lor San Tekka stole the last piece that they needed to protect Luke, which is why Kylo Ren went after him in the first place when we meet him in The Force Awakens. R2 had the rest of the map that led to Luke, and because R2's memory and databank was never wiped like 3PO's was after Revenge of the Sith, R2 was only able to get to it by going into low power mode, which is what allowed him to sort through all of the information that he's collected over all of these films that he had from the Empire's archives. But of course, he finds it right when it's convenient to move the Force Awakens storyline along and find Luke. During the time of The Force Awakens and the rise of the First Order, Luke's legacy continued to live on to those involved with the Resistance, and they knew he was alive and not a myth. When Rebel pilots were training for the Resistance, they learned the Skywalker swoop, which is my favorite little thing from Return of the Jedi up until The Force Awakens, which was based on Luke's piloting abilities. The Skywalker swoop was based on Luke's piloting abilities during the Galactic Civil War. Those being trained in the First Order like FN 2187, or as we better know him, Finn, are taught that Luke is an enemy and were brainwashed into thinking that he helped destroy the Empire, which is true, but he's not an enemy. Despite the fact that Luke was beginning to become a legend around the galaxy rather than a man, and people were beginning to doubt that Luke had ever even actually existed, people who were involved with the Resistance and the First Order still knew who he was and knew that he was out there somewhere in the galaxy. But to people who weren't directly involved with either the First Order or the Resistance, they believed that Luke was a mythic figure. That wraps things up for me here in this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, give that video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more videos like this one. If you're a daily coffee drinker, please hit that bell to be among the first to know when a new video goes live. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, keep loving Star Wars. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.